The four descend to the ground where they contact Aqualad, who, scaling a cliff, tells them to head for the factory and that he will meet them there. On their way, Superboy hears a twig snap. Kid Flash switches his goggles to thermal mode and sees two squads of armed bozos heading for one another. They meet and a firefight breaks out. Late in the night, Brick is conducting a smuggling operation in the docks when Speedy intervenes and cuts it short. Brick opens fire at Speedy, who dodges the shots and disarms the crime lord. He orders his goons to open fire when Kid Flash, Robin, and Aqualad show up to join the fight, disposing of the armed men. The trio tries to sway Speedy into joining the team. All the while, Brick hurls boulders at them. Speedy shoots explosive arrows at him, but they are ineffective against Brick's invulnerability, so he mocks the archer. Speedy shoots one final arrow that encases Brick in high-density polyurethane foam, effectively restraining him. Robin asks Speedy if he'll join them, but Speedy declines, claiming he needs no adult supervision or a clubhouse to hang out with them. He leaves the trio behind, speechless. Sometime later, Robin and Kid Flash teleport into the cave in civvies and rush to ask Aqualad if he talked to Red Tornado, and he informs them he is arriving now. The team hurries to greet him outside, raring to go on a mission. Tornado tells them that assigning missions is Batman's responsibility, and they'll be tested soon. As he walks away, Miss Martian tries to read Tornado's mind to find out what he's really up to. However, she is unable to, as Tornado is a machine, and she cannot read the mind of inorganic beings. Kid Flash shamelessly flirts with her, and it irritates the other guys. Miss Martian volunteers as a tour guide since she and Superboy have been living there. The cave actually consists of the entire mountain, hollowed out and reinforced by Superman and Green Lantern, and was the Justice League first base. Miss Martian is apprehensive about living in a disclosed place, but Robin and Kid Flash attempt to assuage her distress by explaining that they are hiding in plain sight. Suddenly, Superboy smells smoke, sending Miss Martian flying off to the kitchen, where she removes a tray of carbonized cookies from the oven. Kid Flash chomps one to console Miss Martian, prompting a faint smile from her. Miss Martian says her name is Mgan Moores, but she also goes by an Earth name now, Megan. Superboy remains silent, but as he walks away, Megan telepathically reassures him that they'll find him an Earth name too. He lashes out and tells her to stay out of his head. Confused, Megan explains, still telepathically. Aqualad urges her to stop and explains that on Earth, using those powers is an invasion of privacy. Megan tries to apologize, but Superboy tells her to stay out and goes sit on the couch. Megan comes up with an idea to make up for her faux pas. Superboy initially remains behind, but relents after Megan urges him to come. In the hangar, she introduces the team to her bioship, a Martian organic space shuttle. She invites them to come aboard, and so they do, albeit with mild hesitation. They take off, and while Wally is in awe of Megan, Aqualad notes that Superboy is feeling awkward for overreacting to Megan and suggests him to simply apologize. Superboy remains silent, which worries Megan, though Robin assures her he will come around. Changing the topic, Robin asks Megan to showcase her shape-shifting powers. She shape-shifts into both Robin and Wally, though is unable to mimic male features. Megan then proceeds to show them the ship's camouflage mode. At that moment, they receive a message from Red Tornado, who sends them to covertly investigate a disturbance in the Happy Harbor power plant. As they arrive, they are gobbled by a tornado. After trying her level best, Megan manages to evade it and lands the ship. Before Aqualad can assess the situation, Robin sneaks off to the power plant. Inside, he is knocked down by the perpetrator, who is able to control wind and calls himself Mr. Twister. He repels Superboy and hurls Wally outside. After repelling Megan and Aqualad, he expresses disappointment at being challenged by young heroes instead of a proper superhero. He mocks them for being alone, and the team attacks him together. However, he disposes of them with ease and leaves. Outside, he is intercepted by Wally, who had just come to, but Mr. Twister knocks him away again, only to be saved by Megan, who arrives with the rest of the team in tow. Aqualad asks him what he wants, and the villain reiterates that he is waiting for a real hero. Aqualad tells Megan to read his mind, but she is unable to get a reading and naturally surmises that Mr. Twister is Red Tornado in disguise. Everyone thinks Tornado is giving them a test and stands watching. Twister generates a storm, but they refuse to indulge him in battle. Twister is delighted that they think he is Red Tornado and blasts them away with lightning. Superboy lunges at him, only to be stricken down. Twister proceeds to exterminate them, but is stymied by the camouflaged bioship, which shrouds the young heroes from sight. He decides to let them live, but vows to show no mercy should they decide to engage him again, and flies off. Superboy vents his frustration and rage at Megan for misguiding them into thinking Twister was Tornado. The others stand up to her, but agree that her lack of experience is a liability and tell her to stay behind. Aqualad consoles her and rushes off too, leaving Megan behind. Mr. Twister sweeps Happy Harbor with an array of tornadoes to draw attention to him, and the team, without Megan, tackles him. En route to the cave, Megan tries to convince Red Tornado to help the team. He refuses to do so, but points out the odd coincidence of Mr. Twister being inorganic and possessing the same elemental abilities. This suddenly gives Megan an idea. Back at the bay, the heroes spar with Mr. Twister, but to no avail. Megan contacts them telepathically and lets them in on her plan. A few moments later, Red Tornado arrives and tells the team to depart and takes charge. The two androids match their elemental powers against each other, but Mr. Twister insists he's far superior and knocks Tornado out. He proceeds to reprogram him, but it turns out that it was actually Megan disguised as Red Tornado, while Wally produced the tornadoes with super speed. The team takes advantage of the android's bewilderment and knocks him around. Superboy punctures the android repeatedly and sends him flying to the sea, where Aqualad electrocutes him. Then, Megan rips his body further apart and Robin blasts him with explosives. Defeated, the android reveals to have a man inside, piloting the armor. He falls to the ground, crying foul. Megan calmly lifts a rock and smashes the man. "Oh, the balls on this young lady, I tell you!" The team stares in shock and Robin berates her. Megan smirks and lifts the rock, revealing that the man was actually an android, which she knew because she couldn't read his mind. They praise Megan and ascribe the success of the mission to her. In a secret hideaway, the man who looks like the android, Brom Stick, had been monitoring the incident through the android's eyes. Another man, T.O. Morrow, asks him if he's glad he didn't pilot the armor himself. Seems like they only wanted information from this whole setup. Later that night, the team and Red Tornado examine the smashed android and conclude that he and Mr. Twister were meant to sabotage or even destroy Tornado. He declares the matter closed and walks away. Wally and Robin point out that while the other Leaguers would not hesitate in intervening, Tornado, at least, lets them handle their matters. He, Wally, and Aqualad figure that the team may work out after all. On his way out, Superboy turns to Megan and mumbles an apology, leaving her gazing slightly with a smile. Meanwhile, inside the Santa Prisca Venom facility, the Cult of the Cobra has taken over, but they say that if one of the prisoners defeats their master's champion in single combat, they will leave. Bane steps forward and is given back his venom, which he uses to enhance his strength. At the other end of the arena, a scrawny man enters and is infused with a dose of Cobra venom, transforming him into a hulking monster, the Mammoth. Bane and Mammoth begin their brawl, with Bane taking a considerable beating. As Mammoth defeats Bane and throws him to the ground, the Kobra cultists begin to chant, "Hail Kobra!" Soon after, the bioship is on approach to Santa Prisca, as Robin reminisces the mission details assigned to them by Batman. They are told that Santa Prisca, the worldwide producer of the illegal supersteroid venom, has ceased all shipping of the drug, despite the fact that the facility seems to be producing the steroid at full capacity. The team's assignment: infiltrate the prison, figure out what is going on, and report back to the League. Nearing the first drop zone, Aqualad activates his stealth tech and the bioship enters camouflage mode. Aqualad dives into the water, cuts through the deep-sea defense and lands on the beach, where he patches heat and motion sensors and gives the team the order to move in. Robin, Kid Flash, Miss Martian, and Superboy get ready to descend to Santa Prisca. where Kid Flash comments on the new stealth tech, pointing out that it isn't too late for Superboy to put on his, to which he refuses. Seems like Miss Martian is already in love with the Superboy. The four descend to the ground where they contact Aqualad, who, scaling a cliff, tells them to head for the factory and that he will meet them there. On their way, Superboy hears a twig snap. Kid Flash switches his goggles to thermal mode and sees two squads of armed bozos heading for one another. They meet and a firefight breaks out. Aqualad orders them to steer clear, only Kid Flash runs off to find Robin and ends up tripping and falling into the middle of the skirmish. The rest of the team arrive and fight off the two squads, Superboy tackling Bane to the ground and dishes out a good pounding. The team has a discussion right after the fight and tries to match the situation with the information they have. Robin then breaks out into an argument with Kid Flash about who the leader of the team should be, both attempting to assert themselves to the position, until Bane interrupts. He offers his assistance and a way in via his secret entrance. Miss Martian reads his mind and confirms that there is a secret entrance, but that Bane's also hiding something. Bane offers his assistance once more, as the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Meanwhile, Kobra and a cultist stand on a balcony at the Venom factory, and learning of an approaching VIP, Kobra orders him to activate the radio jamming net, as nothing must interfere. Bane and the team overlook the factory, Robin noting the amount of Venom boxed and ready to ship. They come to the conclusion that a buy is going down, and need to determine the buyer. Bane guides the team through the secret entrance, through underground tunnels, and right into the heart of the warehouse. As they enter, Robin disappears, followed by a competitive Kid Flash. Robin knocks out a cultist with a specialized batarang and accesses a computer as Miss Martian notices that Kobra is only shipping the newest Venom, and Superboy hears an incoming helicopter. Robin and Kid Flash identify a chemical formula as a mix between the Project Blockbuster formula and Venom. The helicopter lands, revealing Sportsmaster to be the mystery buyer. Floating above Sportsmaster and Kobra in camouflage, Miss Martian sends Aqualad a telepathic image of Sportsmaster. Aqualad attempts to contact Red Tornado and the League without success. Bane then suggests he has a plan and dives off of a balcony into the middle of the factory, attacking two cultists. Aqualad and Superboy are then attacked by Mammoth, who crashes through the factory window. Superboy and Mammoth engage one another in combat, as Aqualad fights off cultists and Bane escapes. The rest of the team arrive and help fight the cultists, while Robin goes after Kobra. Aqualad orders Miss Martian to link them up telepathically, and then gives Robin the command to return to the fight, as they need to retreat. Kid Flash clears a path, and they escape, but the cultists and Mammoth chase them through Bane's secret passage. Aqualad orders Superboy to destroy the support beams, and the tunnel collapses. Robin questions his failure on his first mission as leader, as Aqualad hypothesizes that he may be too experienced for such a new team. Robin then suggests Aqualad be leader. The rest of the team agrees and Aqualad accepts, but makes it clear that it is only until Robin lifts the burden from his shoulders. Aqualad then announced their first priority is to prevent the shipment from leaving the island. Sportsmaster attempts to start the helicopter, but Robin had previously sabotaged it. A cultist asks whether they should send out a search party for the team, but Kobra says that they will come to them. As the team near the end of the passage, they come across Bane, who has planted explosives around the entrance. Bane reveals that he intends to kill the team in order to get the League to come in, avenge their sidekick's deaths, and kick out Kobra. As Bane attempts to blow up the explosives, Kid Flash steals the trigger from him, and Miss Martian drops him from the sky for Superboy to knock him out. Just as the helicopter is operational again, the team attack. This time better coordinated. Sportsmaster attacks Superboy and Miss Martian, as Kid Flash knocks out and steals the mask of a cultist as his souvenir, leaving Kobra. Robin engages him, but is no match. Kobra effortlessly throws him back. Aqualad takes out Mammoth first by wearing him down with high-pressure water cannons, and then by electrocuting him, and the Sportsmaster makes his escape in the helicopter. Little to his knowledge, Miss Martian has planted an explosive in it, and she detonates it. The sportsmaster is unable to control the helicopter and parachutes to safety. The helicopter crashes into the factory, destroying it, with Bane tied to a tree, onlooking. Kobra escapes into the bushes as Robin claims they chose the right leader. At Mount Justice, Batman berates the team for their many failures on the mission, but congratulates them for their ability to adapt to a new plan and choose a leader. Sportsmaster and the Light discuss the events on Santa Prisca, and Sportsmaster reveals he was only able to save a single vial of the Cobra venom. The Light states that 3 times now the team has stopped their plans. They are now a nuisance and a threat that will have to be dealt with. Thank you for watching Millennium Pictures. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more awesome videos. Have a nice day.